I discovered my husband had a peculiar fetish. He said he could only get aroused by watching me with other men. Otherwise, he'd divorce me. I compromised for the sake of our marriage, but on our anniversary, he auctioned off videos of me. He and his mistress stood by, humiliating me. But don't worry. Watch me retaliate by unleashing 300 videos and let him taste being scorned by everyone. 3 years ago, my husband, Robert, developed a peculiar fetish. He claimed he couldn't get it up unless he watched me with other men. If you absolutely can't accept this, we can only divorce. I can't hold you back. Having been in love for many years, I naturally didn't want to give up on this marriage, so we made an arrangement that every wedding anniversary, I would be with a stranger in a hotel's top suite, and Robert would watch from the side. This year on our anniversary, Robert told me he had prepared a surprise for me. Sarah, my condition is cured. See you tonight. Don't be late. Tears of excitement streamed down my face, thinking the years of suffering were finally over. Filled with anticipation, I arrived at the destination, only to find that everything that had happened in those hotel rooms over the years had been filmed. Tonight, they were being auctioned off. Robert smiled at me and said, "Sarah, do you like the gift I got you?" My eyes widened in disbelief at the scene before me. "Robert, what is going on?" Before Robert could answer, a woman elegantly dressed emerged from behind him. She said in a sweet voice, "Sarah, long time no see." It was Chloe, my college roommate. Back then, we were both drama students. After graduation, I married Robert and became a housewife, while she soared to become a sought-after movie star. "Chloe, what are you doing here?" I asked her, completely bewildered. Chloe linked her arm through Robert's. "I came as Robert's date to accompany him to the auction." Saying that, she rested her head on Robert's shoulder. I immediately reached out to grab Robert's hand. "He's my husband. How could his date be you?" Robert pulled his hand out of mine and said coldly, "I invited Chloe. She is indeed attending as my date." I was stunned, asking him with a look of disbelief, "What about me? Didn't you ask me to come? You also said you prepared a surprise for me on our anniversary tonight." Chloe leaned on Robert's shoulder and said snidely, "Look at the videos on the big screen. Isn't that surprise enough? Sarah, tonight you could even be called a movie star, though these movies are a bit lowbrow, aren't they?" Furious and anxious, I wanted to demand an explanation from Robert. "Robert, what exactly is going on?" Robert, with Chloe's arm linked in his, said coldly, "Tonight is a charity gala. Half of the proceeds from the auction of these videos will go to charity organizations. I will name this charity fund after both you and me. This is the gift I prepared for you." At that moment, someone near the stage recognized me in the video. Holy hell, isn't that her in the video? Come look, it really is. She doesn't look that trashy in person, and someone is watching. TSK, quite the kinky show. Chloe pretended to be angry, cooing at them. "Oh, stop it. The one watching her is her husband. Not just anyone. Her husband will be unhappy if he hears you." The men's eyes widened, their expressions exaggerated to the extreme. "No way. You're saying the one watching is her husband? That's absolutely wild." "Listen to me, guys, this woman is trouble. She's so kinky, who knows what she does behind his back." "Dude, you're so patient. Your wife doing that right in front of you. If it were me, I'd beat that woman to death." I looked at Robert, pleading for help, but he showed no intention of rescuing me. At this point, the lights in the hall dimmed, the host began to speak. "The auction will now begin." Chapter 2. There are a total of 3 videos for auction tonight. Each starts at 1 million. The first video was played on the big screen. It was our wedding anniversary 3 years ago, my first time in a hotel with Robert and another man. I looked very constrained in the video. Someone in the crowd jeered loudly. "What's she faking? Does she think she's still a virgin?" "Exactly. I hate women who act like that." An eagle-eyed acquaintance suddenly noticed that the stranger in the video was Robert's college roommate. "Hey, isn't that Robert's classmate? What's going on? Holy hell, this is too goddamn dramatic. Is this woman even a decent person? This woman is absolutely shameless. Robert must have the patience of a saint." "Robert, I'd like to apply to be your good friend too. Can your wife let me?" Amidst the crowd's insults, the first video ended. The second video began to play. That was 2 years ago on our wedding anniversary. Robert and I in the hotel suite, and another man. This man actually got violent with me, first slapping me a few times. In the video, I screamed, trying to ask Robert for help. "Robert, it hurts. Can we stop?" Robert just coldly shook his head, allowing the man to continue. The man, given permission, became even more aggressive, choking me while slamming my head against the wall. In the video, I was in tears, constantly wailing. The crowd started shouting again. I think trash like her deserves to be beaten. The harder she's hit, the happier she is. Make me happy, and I'll bid on this one later. None of you better try to take it from me. How much does it cost to buy a night with her? I want to slap her a couple of times too. Not for anything else, just purely because I think women like this deserve to be hit. The crowd's insults were relentless. The host had to step in to control the scene before they stopped their verbal abuse. The last video started playing on the screen. That was last year on our wedding anniversary. Robert and I were in a suite on the Emerald Coast, and there was a Chinese man. In the video, the man was shy and awkward, unsure where to start, but I was very proactive. No one noticed Robert sitting on the sofa, his fists clenched, veins bulging. As soon as the video finished, a deafening uproar erupted in the hall. Even those who had been silent couldn't help but curse me. Damn it. I knew this woman was faking being pure. She's clearly enjoying it herself. So disgusting. In ancient times, women like this would be drawn and quartered. This woman isn't even pretending anymore. I think we should find a few guys to do her once and she'll behave. Listening to the unbearable insults from the crowd, I trembled with anger. I walked up to Robert and questioned him. You said it was to help cure your illness. Why has it turned into this now? Robert pretended not to understand. Sarah, what illness are you talking about? It's you. I suspect you might have an addiction, but I was afraid of hurting your pride, so I never took you to the hospital for a checkup. My eyes instantly widened. I couldn't believe he had turned the tables on me like that. It was you. You said you had a special fetish, that you needed to watch me with others to feel pleasure. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get it up. It was to cure you that I did this. Before I could finish, the crowd burst into an uproar, whispering amongst themselves. At this moment, Chloe said leisurely, "What are you talking about? Robert has no problem getting it up. Just this morning he was amazing." Just then, the host announced from the stage, "The auction is officially open, starting bid 1 million, chapter 31 million. I jumped in with the first bid. These videos absolutely couldn't fall into someone else's hands. 1 million. Chloe watched me with amusement and slowly said. I gritted my teeth. 1.5 million. Chloe burst into laughter, saying mockingly, 51 million. My fists clenched, trembling with anger. 2 million. Robert's face immediately darkened. Sarah, where did you get that kind of money? Although Robert was a billionaire, my financial situation was extremely tight. My parents worked hard their whole lives to put me through drama school, hoping I would become famous overnight. But after graduating from university, Robert proposed to me. Sarah, marrying me means ruining your acting career. Will you regret it? I looked at him deeply and said with certainty, being an actress is my dream, but marrying you is also my dream, more than being a star. I want to be your wife. Robert was moved to tears on the spot and held me tightly. From now on, you are the leading lady of my life. I will give you a happy ending straight out of a movie. In the beginning, he doted on me and never controlled my spending on food and clothes, but later, he gradually reduced the money he spent on me. Until the last few years, besides basic grocery and living expenses, he didn't give me another cent. Robert knew perfectly well that I was penniless. My parents' old house, it's probably worth about $2 million. I said the words through clenched teeth. The people in the hall burst into laughter upon hearing this. Does this poor wretch even qualify to be at the same auction as me? This is hilarious. Hey sis, if you're that short on cash, why not go make adult films? Looks like you've got plenty of experience already. Ha ha ha. I'll bid 5 million. Who's going to waste time adding 1 million at a time with this pauper? It's killing me, Chloe said unhurriedly. Oh, don't say that. She's a proper actress who graduated from drama school. How could she make things like that? The crowd erupted in an uproar. Someone like that qualified to be a star? Being an adult film star is still a star, huh? I bid 6 million. I just love watching trash like this who pretends to be pure. It gets me so worked up. Watching the video price skyrocket to such an astronomical figure, I was almost completely desperate. 6 million was just the price of a watch to them. But for me, it was money I couldn't earn in a lifetime. I begged Robert, crying uncontrollably. Robert, please, I'm begging you. Just for the sake of all our years together, can you please bid on these videos for me? I'll work hard to pay you back every cent. Please. A flicker of pity crossed Robert's eyes, but it quickly returned to his usual coldness. Sarah, stop making a scene. Tonight is a charity auction that everyone has been looking forward to. You acting like this is spoiling the mood. I didn't give up, continuing to plead bitterly. Robert, I'm your wife. How can you let them bid on those videos of me? Didn't you love me the most? You promised me back then that I would be the only leading lady in your life. I ruined my career to marry you. Why? Chloe let out a snicker. You are indeed the only leading lady in the videos. Robert didn't lie. But someone of your caliber is only fit to be the leading lady in videos like these. The crowd began to laugh loudly. Chloe is truly amazing. She just won Best Actress 2 days ago. She's on a completely different level from this Sarah. I thought there'd be a twist. Why isn't she wildly overbidding now? Seeing her look so pathetic is really making me laugh. Wildly overbidding is for movie heroines. How could this poor woman do that? The host started urging, 6 million? Any more bids? 3, 2, 1. Gavel down. Sold. Chapter 4. Just like that. The second and third videos were also sold off one by one. The second one even fetched a high price of 13 million. It was bought by a greasy middle-aged man in his 50s. I just love watching women get beaten. It makes me want to jump in and kick her a couple of times. Beat her up and then take her. She won't have the strength to resist. She'll be completely at my mercy. Feels great. I'll share this video for free with all my brothers. Good things should be shared. Looking at his vulgar and greasy expression, I felt like throwing up. The host announced to the crowd, the 3 videos combined were auctioned for a total of 28 million. Mr. Robert has voluntarily donated half, 14 million, to charity organizations. Let's welcome the couple to the stage to speak. The crowd praised Robert's generosity and charity, while directing sneering insults at me. Robert is truly a perfect man. His wife does something so shameless, and he can face it calmly and donate half the money. If I were that Sarah, I'd just go kill myself. How does she even have the nerve to get on stage and speak? Support Robert getting a divorce. Only a goddess like Chloe deserves a perfect man like Robert. Amidst the crowd's chatter, Robert and I slowly walked onto the stage. Thank you all very much for supporting this auction. Your kindness is very touching. Robert actually referred to the crowd's behavior of humiliating and ridiculing me as kindness. I suddenly realized this marriage was irreparable. Robert suddenly looked at Chloe in the audience and said affectionately, this auction was Chloe's idea. She is a very charitable good girl who thought of this way to support charity. I hope everyone will support her career in the future. Chloe, being praised and adored by the crowd below, laughed gleefully. Let that slut say a few words too. I want to see what kind of trash comes out of her mouth. Ha ha ha. She's not going to say that sleeping around with men was for charity, is she? That's hilarious. Let her say a few words. I want to hear if she talks as slutty in person as she does in the video. I looked troubled and cast an uneasy glance at Robert. He completely disregarded my feelings, handing the microphone directly to me, waiting to see me make a fool of myself. I took the microphone, lifted my head, and a slight smile played on my lips. Thank you all very much for being so interested in my little videos and willing to pay big money for them. Since that's the case, I'll provide you with some more. The money from the upcoming auction will all be donated to charity organizations. Suddenly, hundreds of videos of me with other men appeared on the big screen. The locations were actually Robert's living room, bedroom, and bathroom at home. Robert, I did it with him when you didn't know. Here's the gift I prepared for you. Do you like it? Chapter 5. Robert's face instantly changed drastically, staring at the videos on the big screen, his back teeth grinding with anger. Sarah, you actually did these things behind my back. You brought other men home without telling me? And filmed it? I raised an eyebrow, saying to him with a smile, Robert, what are you talking about? Didn't you want me to be with other men like this? As for recording it, isn't that something you taught me well, Robert? If you hadn't filmed these and put them up for auction, I wouldn't have known these videos were worth so much money. Seeing this, the people in the audience started jeering again. She even brought them home? Looks like Mr. Sterling really did approve of it. Otherwise she wouldn't be so bold. I always say, birds of a feather flock together. They're too kinky. Looks like what she said about Robert having a special fetish is true. Tsk. A lowlife and a cuckold, a perfect match. The public opinion at the scene turned against Robert. People even used more vulgar language to trample on his dignity. Robert's fists clenched so tightly his nails were about to draw blood. At this moment, someone with sharp eyes noticed that the man in these 300 videos was the same person. Holy cow, why is the guy in all these videos the same person? It's true. Isn't this the guy from the first video? How could they do it hundreds of times? Isn't this Robert's good friend? Could this woman have fallen in love with his friend? Robert's forehead veins bulged. He asked me, grinding out each word. You and him got together. I feigned surprise and touched Robert's tie. My dear Robert, have you forgotten? You were the one who introduced us in the first place. 3 years ago, on our wedding anniversary, we were about to carry out the plan to be with a stranger for the first time. At the time, I was scared and resistant, but Robert gently comforted me. The man coming today is my college roommate. I checked him out beforehand. He's very clean and has good character. Sarah, don't worry. Everything will be fine. And so, David and I did it in front of Robert. After we finished, Robert left without looking back, leaving David and me exchanging awkward glances in the room. I lowered my head and apologized to David. I'm sorry, I troubled you today. Here's 100,000 yuan. It's not much, but please take it. David looked at the money in my hand, was silent for a moment, and then asked me, where did you get this money? Doesn't Robert usually only give you basic living expenses? I gave an awkward smile and said sheepishly, this was part of my dowry from my parents for a rainy day. I had to use it now. If you think it's too little, I can borrow more from others. Can you please not tell anyone about today? A flicker of sympathy crossed David's eyes, and he slowly began to speak. Robert has been lying to you the whole time. Did you know? Chapter 6. I looked at David, bewildered, not understanding what he meant. David took out his phone and opened the college dorm group chat. A month ago, Robert had asked in the chat, guys, you there? Urgent, urgent. His roommates responded one after another. What's up, Robert? Yeah. Just say whatever you need help with, Robert said. To be honest, guys, my wife wants to try being with someone else lately. Anyone interested in coming? His roommates were incredulous. Seriously, Robert? It's not April Fool's Day, is it? Your wife? The goddess who was top of the drama class. Holy cow, you're letting us brothers have a taste? Robert replied in a seemingly helpless tone. No choice. She has a weird fetish. If I don't agree, she'll divorce me. I don't trust other men, so I could only ask my brothers. The roommates immediately blew up the chat, but some were starting businesses abroad, and others were already married. Only David said, are you sure she's willing? Robert replied instantly, I'm covering it. Bro, so David, who was single and working in the city, became the chosen one. When he arrived at the hotel, he actually thought I was willing. It wasn't until I took out the 100,000 yuan dowry my parents gave me and asked him to keep quiet that he realized this was all a setup by Robert. David leaned in and whispered in my ear, don't say anything. There are cameras filming. I'll wait for you at the coffee shop on the corner. At the coffee shop, David told me. Robert put cameras in the hotel room. He said he wanted to share it with the guys to enjoy. I was completely unable to think at that moment, just staring wide-eyed. David took out his business card and put it in my hand. If you need help, call me anytime. I stayed at the coffee shop until it closed before going home, still unwilling to believe Robert was lying to me. As soon as I got home, Robert had a table full of dishes ready. Sarah, what took you so long? Come quickly and try the candlelight dinner I cooked for you myself. After dinner, Robert took out a delicate box. Inside was a ruby necklace. Sarah, happy anniversary. Seeing Robert's usual attentiveness towards me, I couldn't tell which was the real him. From that day on, Robert was very good to me every day, until the eve of our second wedding anniversary, when he made the same request again. Sarah, just as we agreed, tomorrow, hotel suite, remember to be there. I suddenly felt as if I had woken up from a dream and rummaged through the drawer for David's business card. I need to ask for your help. David seemed to have anticipated my call. Go ahead. I still couldn't believe Robert did all this with malicious intent. He must still love me. He just had a special fetish, which is why he was forced to do it. I want to ask you to find a man to meet me tomorrow night, but I want him to hit me in front of Robert as hard as possible. David was shocked, speechless by my request. After a long pause, he finally managed to say, are you sure? Yes. I want to see if he will feel heartbroken when I am hurt. That night, I told Robert, I'll arrange the man for tomorrow night. Robert was a little surprised but agreed. But the result was obvious. Even when I was beaten until my head bled, crying out for help, he just watched coldly. Chapter 7. From that day on, Robert continued to be as gentle and considerate towards me as ever. But a rift remained in my heart. Until last year's wedding anniversary, Robert told me early on, Sarah, Let's go to the Emerald Coast for our anniversary this year. My eyes lit up, thinking Robert had changed his ways. But his next sentence shattered my hopes. In the suite on the Emerald Coast, you can try different races. A black guy would be good. Looking at his hypocritical face, a revenge plan began to form in my mind. I first contacted Chris, a junior from my university days. He was very surprised to see me. Hi Sarah, long time no see. How have you been? You're still as beautiful as ever. Chris used to fail his acting classes, and I stayed up late helping him rehearse and practice, which is why he passed with high marks. At the time, he confessed his feelings for me, but I was already with Robert, so I rejected him. Sarah, I'll always wait for you. 4 years passed, and I finally contacted Chris again. Chris, I need your help with something. Chris was stunned after hearing my plans. Sarah, why don't you just divorce him and I'll take care of you? This is absolutely outrageous. So many guys liked you in college. How dare he treat you like this? I reassured him divorce would be too easy on him. So, when we were on the Emerald Coast, Chris came before my appointment. At first, he was very restrained and didn't dare to do anything too bold. I leaned into his ear and whispered, think of this as acting, dedicating yourself to art. So we did the entire thing very immersed and enjoyed ourselves. Robert was indeed provoked by me. He sat on the sofa, his fists clenched, trembling slightly with anger. But he didn't know. This was just the beginning. Chapter 8. From that day on, Robert seemed like a different person, treating me extremely coldly. Often, he wouldn't come home for a month. This is to punish you for being so invested with other men, but he didn't know. This was exactly what I wanted. In these past 3 years, David had helped me countless times privately, helping me take care of my parents and grandparents at my parents' house. Whenever I was helpless, he would always appear before me immediately, regardless of the time or place. I once asked him, why are you helping me like this? David was silent for a moment before recounting things from the past. Back in college, I was just a poor student, and you were the most popular girl in school, #1 in the drama department. There was a social mixer once. Everyone had found their dance partners, and I, who couldn't even afford a suit, could only sit awkwardly in the corner. But you walked through the crowd, straight towards me, and asked me to dance. I was flustered at the time, waved my hand wanting to refuse. I didn't even have a formal suit. How could I be worthy of you? But you winked at me and said with a smile, it's much easier to dance in sportswear. I never expected that a casual gesture from back then would lead to such a butterfly effect. So I told David about my revenge plan. Since Robert secretly filmed those videos of me, why don't we film some more? Although David didn't approve of my actions of hurting myself to get revenge on Robert, he respected my choice. When we were doing it in various corners of the house, perhaps it started with an element of acting, but over time, I found that I developed some feelings for David as well. Suddenly, the host's voice pulled me back to reality. The auction continues, each video starting at 1 million. To my surprise, Robert blurted out, 5 million. The people in the audience gasped and started whispering, why is Robert bidding now? Wasn't he just auctioning off his wife's videos? Why does he want to buy them back now? Truly hypocritical, trying to look good while being bad. He wants to appear like he loves his wife, but he just sold off several videos of her. The host asked, 5 million. Any higher bids? Once, twice, 3. Just as the gavel was about to fall, a familiar voice suddenly came from the doorway. 10 million. Everyone turned to look at the doorway. It was David. Chapter 9. Robert's face instantly sank, staring fiercely at David. 15 million. David walked up to Robert in front of the crowd, positioning himself between Robert and me. Robert, why are you doing this? Didn't you ask for all of this yourself? Now you're pretending to be heartbroken. For whom? I bid 20 million. Robert shoved David aside and walked up, grabbing my hand. Sarah, I was wrong. I will buy back all the mistakes I made with money. Please forgive me. Then he shouted in front of everyone, wildly overbid. I'll wildly overbid on all the remaining videos. Then he turned and glared savagely at David. Go ahead and keep bidding if you have the guts. You're just a poor student who started a business. You can probably barely afford one video at most. What makes you think you can compare with me? But David smiled, looking completely unconcerned. Mr. Robert wants to wildly overbid for charity. Why would I compete with that? However, there are 300 videos in total. Does Mr. Robert have that much cash flow? Robert immediately became enraged. If the cash flow isn't enough, he'll sell the company. The company is worth hundreds of billions now. As long as Sarah can forgive me, what's a mere hundreds of billions? I looked at Robert coldly and slowly spoke. Robert, are you sure you want to wildly overbid? Even if you buy all the videos, I won't forgive you. Have you thought this through? Robert declared confidently. Even if you never forgive me, I will buy back all these videos. Chloe in the audience suddenly panicked and rushed onto the stage to Robert, saying, "Are you crazy? You'll go bankrupt like this? What about me and the baby then? You haven't loved her for a long time anyway. Why do you need to do all this?" Robert shoved Chloe away and knelt in front of me, crying hysterically. "Sarah, I was wrong. I was just temporarily infatuated. After we got married, you only had eyes for me. Over time, I got used to your kindness towards me and felt like you had lost your initial charm. Watching the goddess of the school from back then doing housework for me at home, I actually felt bored. Letting you do those things with those men was just me wanting to recapture the feeling of every guy in college back then coveting you. The admiration and liking other men had for you made me feel great, that everyone's goddess belonged only to me. But I was wrong. I realize now that I can't share you with anyone. Watching you and David doing those things, my heart was breaking." Chloe laughed like she was insane, grabbing Robert's arm and questioning him. "You big liar. If you still love her, what am I? You said you loved me. And I'm pregnant with your child. Now I can't make movies anymore. What am I supposed to do now?" Robert kicked Chloe away and said coldly, "I just got you because everyone else liked you. After I got you, I actually got bored long ago. As for being pregnant, you just secretly poked a hole in the condom and got pregnant by accident." The crowd burst into an uproar, taking out their phones to take pictures and send them to the paparazzi. After all, gossip about a popular female celebrity could sell for a lot of money. Chapter 10. Robert ultimately bought all the videos for $1.8 billion. He immediately called to sell off assets for funding, and his company was quickly acquired by RS Group, the largest emerging company in the country. All $1.8 billion was donated to charity organizations. After the auction ended, David took my hand and prepared to leave the hall with me. Robert suddenly ran up to us and blocked our path. "Sarah, although the company is sold, I still have countless properties and business ventures under my name. Making a comeback is just a matter of time. I promise you, all the assets under my name will be transferred to you. You can spend my money however you want, as long as you forgive me." David stood in front of me, blocking me, and looked at Robert coldly. "After doing all this, you still expect Sarah to forgive you? Do you really think money is everything?" Robert suddenly exploded in rage, yelling at David, "What are you? You were a pauper in college. Even with my company sold, I'm still thousands of times richer than you. Money isn't everything, but it's more than enough to crush an ant like you." Before David could reply, a man in the hall suddenly spoke. "Mr. Han, is that really you? I thought I was mistaken. Your Aura stock is absolutely skyrocketing. I bought 1,000 shares of your company half a year ago, and now I'm financially free. The stock hit its limit up again today. I heard RS just acquired Sterling Corp. Looks like it'll keep hitting limit up tomorrow too. You're really something, Mr. Han." Robert froze for a moment, his eyes filled with disbelief. "You're the CEO of RS? Impossible. How could you? You couldn't even afford food in college." David didn't pay him any mind, just took me and left. For the next 2 weeks, I went back to my parents' house. David also came over often to help us buy groceries, cook, and clean. My grandmother, who had Alzheimer's, even mistook David for Robert multiple times. "Grandson-in-law, how did you change so much? You never came before." "Good, good. As long as my granddaughter is happy, everything is good." The day I got my divorce certificate, I had never felt so light. That day, David also mysteriously told me he had something for me. He handed me a stock certificate in a restaurant. "Stock certificate, RS Film Co., Limited." David smiled at me and said, "Actually, I knew your dream wasn't always to be an actress, but to be a director. Now you can fulfill your dream. Go make the films you want to make." That very day I decided to film my own experience to encourage countless women. During casting, the casting director suggested we could get Chloe to play the female lead. "She has a lot of buzz right now." The assistant director immediately stopped her. "Are you crazy? Chloe was caught being a mistress and getting pregnant by accident. Haven't you been reading any gossip news? She's been frozen by her company and has to pay astronomical liquidated damages. Chloe's career is pretty much over." In the end, I cast a girl from the film academy with a difficult background as the female lead, partly because her stubbornness reminded me of myself when I was younger, and partly because I hoped the salary from this film would help ease her financial burden. As for the male lead, I asked my junior, Chris, to play the part. After all, he was one of the prototypes for the protagonist in my script, so he could naturally play it very well. During the year of filming, David visited the set every day, bringing me chicken soup without fail. One night, I learned about Robert's recent situation on television. Recently, the former richest man of Fairview City, Robert, sold all his assets and donated them unconditionally to charity organizations. He himself has also withdrawn from the business world and become a volunteer at a charity organization. Let's follow our reporter's camera to interview the person in question. Robert in the video had lost a lot of weight, his hair was shaved off, and he looked haggard and sad. I will spend the rest of my life in a charity organization, atoning for the mistakes I made before. 2 months later, my debut film was officially released. It swept the awards, winning Best Director, Best Picture, and Best Actor. I rose to stardom overnight, becoming a dark horse in the directing world. Chris, with this film, instantly became the most sought-after rising star in the industry. When I went on stage to accept the award, the host asked me, "Director Sarah, what is the secret to the success of your first film?" I smiled and replied, "Facing your scars and vulnerabilities instead of hiding them in your heart. It's better to treat them as your merits and put them out in the sun." Here, I want to say to all women, when facing injustice in marriage, you must dare to resist. If I had chosen to tolerate it back then, I would never have had the chance to stand here and speak today. The audience erupted in thunderous applause. Although the countless flashing lights made me squint, I could clearly see my future was bright.